Jaden Cooper was the kind of kid who could light up a room just by walking into it. In high school, he had the world in his hands, star quarterback, honor roll student, beloved by teachers, cheered on by classmates. Colleges scouted him early. Reporters used words like prodigy and future Hall of Famer. But dreams, like glass, are fragile. And sometimes life doesn't just crack them, it shatters them completely. It started with a torn ACL in his junior year. One bad fall during a playoff game, one wrong twist, and everything changed. Surgery followed. Then physical therapy. Then another injury. The scouts stopped calling. The articles dried up. Friends who once rode the wave of his popularity drifted away, like leaves on water. He graduated with a limp and a trophy no one remembered. By the time Jaden turned 20, he was living in a basement apartment he could barely afford, working the night shift at a gas station, and hiding from a world that once adored him. He slept during the day, played video games to numb the silence, and ignored the unopened letters from community colleges. He didn't want to think about school. He didn't want to think about anything. He told himself he didn't care. But there were nights the silence was too loud, and the ache in his chest was heavier than the pain in his knee. Rock bottom came one December evening when he caught his reflection in the darkened glass of the gas station window. Slouched shoulders, dull eyes, a hoodie stained with coffee. He didn't recognize the man looking back. "This isn't me," he whispered. But the world didn't hear it, and no one came to save him. It was an old customer, Mr. Dominguez, who planted the first seed. He came in every night for coffee and newspapers. One night, seeing Jaden wince as he limped to restock shelves, he said gently, "You ever think of coaching, son? You still got something to give." Jaden laughed it off, but the idea stuck. That night, he opened one of the old college letters. Then another. And another. They were outdated, but they reminded him that once, someone believed in him. And maybe that meant he could believe again, too. He started slow, volunteering at a youth center after his shifts, helping little kids learn how to throw a football. He didn't tell them who he had been. He didn't need to. They saw the way he guided them, the patience he showed, the fire still burning beneath the surface. One of the kids, Micah, hugged him after scoring his first touchdown and said, "Coach Jay, I want to be just like you." That broke something open. Jaden enrolled in night classes, balancing school with work and coaching. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't fast. But it was progress. He studied education, learned sports psychology, even took a course in physical therapy. He started running again, not far, not fast, but enough to remember what it felt like to fight for something. 5 years after rock bottom, Jaden stood on the sideline as the head coach of a state championship-winning high school team. His boys, many of whom came from broken homes and rough beginnings, looked at him like a hero. And he knew the feeling. Because he'd once needed someone to believe in him, too. He gave speeches not about winning, but about rising. About how greatness isn't a straight line. About how failure can be fertilizer for something beautiful. He started a scholarship fund with the little he had. He wrote letters to kids in juvie. He spoke at schools. His name, once tied to a fallen star, became a symbol of grit. When ESPN did a small feature titled The Comeback Kid, Jaden watched it alone in his apartment, tears streaming down his face. Not for what he lost, but for everything he rebuilt. Because greatness isn't just about touchdowns or trophies. Sometimes, greatness is about crawling out of the pit with bloodied hands and saying, "I'm still here." Jaden Cooper was more than a comeback. He was proof that falling doesn't define you, rising does.